Morning everyone. It's Sunday morning at, well, back 8 o'clock. I'm hunting petrol. Jet Garage was closed in Dunbar, it's supposed to open at 7. Must not be on a Sunday though. Tesco's supposed to open at 8. No sign of life there. We're after 8 now. So, lastly I'll try the other side of North Berwick. I could get some after work, but I'd rather just get home. So of course this is my last day, 9 till 5. And then we're on split shifts tomorrow, all kicks off work-wise. And I'm trying to commute every day on the bike. Because that's what this bike is. It's brilliant as a commuter. Yeah. So the good thing being Sunday morning, you don't have all the office twats driving like friggin' idiots. I couldn't believe they were taken last week. And what's wrong with folk these days? So I got up at 6 o'clock this morning early. An hour early. And I was just catching up with YouTube. I was watching Bina this morning. Hi Bina. And the guy pulling out in front of you, or the woman, whatever. And I mean, just horrific, eh? That's just the mannerism of people. But he was talking about people flicking the bird at him and that after pulling out in front of him and stuff like that. And I just think about when I was like 19, 20, if somebody did that to me, and it happened quite a few times, I would just be past them and I'd just take their mirror clean off their bike, because I always wore motocross boots on my big trailies, and I didn't hold back like. But that's what you do when you're young, eh? You're young and daft. You wouldn't risk it now, because folk are that stupid they would swerve into you or something. But he's right what Bina says. I think as well, everybody should actually ride a scooter at 16. And that would wake them up to reality of the dangers of being on a road. And the power a car has. But a car is a weapon in the wrong hands. You've seen that in terrorism incidents and stuff. I see quite right why folk in the UK have Land Rovers and drive about in them, because they don't care. If someone wants to pull in front of your Land Rover, good luck to them, because I know who will come off worse. My dad always said that when he had the big Series 3 station wagon V8 thing. He said, if you want to pull in front of me, good luck to you. So this film was supposed to be country roads this morning, and I was going to actually just touch on the golden fields of barley just now, but it's just going for fuel instead. So talking of which, the bike is actually 3 years old. Today's date, I think it is. But it was a Sunday of our 9 to 5 4-day shift of that, which I first rode the bike to work. I'll do a kind of 3 year review, blah blah blah, this week some night or afternoon when I'm on split shift or something. But I mean, the fact is, 80 to 100 to the gallon you get, right? Depending on how you use the throttle. I just ride it. I hardly use that. See that eco light on. £58 is it? Road tax. 68 quid insurance. Well, it doesn't get much better than that, does it? So are we open? I think we are. Okay. we will fill up. And I'll come back to you in a bit. So, 8 litres 56. You never get 9 litres in unless you really run it for a wee while on the old petrol light. So it's always quite hard to work out exactly your MPG. I don't really bother, I know it's cheap running. To reset my trip. So that was only 118 miles, but I wasn't even... Always got a nod for those boys in there, the Indian boys, when they see the Royal Enfield. A lot of them actually they like to see that we are still riding Royal Enfields, I think, which is nice. Thanks to them, we're still riding them. So I'm really early, so I think I'll go a wee detour and park up at our usual spot. So we've not talked about the weather. We're all supposed to talk about the weather in the morning. As you can see, there's rain coming. It's forecast to rain during the day, but clear about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. So I might get lucky and I'll do some film going home tonight. But I won't be filming much going home because you've had a morning film. If that makes any sense. So I've got footage just took on my phone yesterday where we're flying all the bunkers. So there's no commentary really, but I was out with a hand blower blowing all the sand off the faces. The guys Strim and Flymo. But you'll see I'll put subtitles on how we do that. This wee birdie just tried to commit harry-carry, but should be alright. First time I've done a film where I went this way in the morning. So I can't go right to Fenton Barns or they kept riding to film. But we're going to have a 10-minute chat. You know what? Let's just do a mini review then of the bike. I've got some photos actually yesterday morning I'm looking to put on the now while I talk through. Bought that bike for 4,275 out my savings. One bank transfer, no finance. You know, I bought it in Edinburgh on the now closed Saltire Motorcycles. Had its first service done with them at 800 miles. Then I've just done the servicing myself. It was done at 800 miles and I changed it at 3,000 miles, and then I just done it at 6,000 again. And then I did it at 6,000 again, and then at 15,000 actually dropped the oil. And as you know, I'm running mineral oil in it now, 2050, which folks say, oh, it'll no work. Well, it's working fine. There's your oil there, and it's not even discoloured that much yet. That's Mannol oil, MANNOL. And I'll buy a 5-gallon drum of that for my Jeep. And I'm running that, and it's running fine on it. Well, it should. It's a low-tune engine. I paid the Army Green, as you know, because they didn't bring the Army Signals model options in when I bought that till late 22. Then they brought them in, obviously, after I'd painted mine. But I don't care, I've got an individual one. It got pressed into daily service right through the winter because, believe it or not, it was more or less today, 3 years ago, that my van engine blew up. I've not got that van back yet, and we're not going to mention that in this video. That's a sore point with me. I've wrote that off, ever seen that again. I've got my late mum's wee Nissan Micra to use when it's raining and cold come the winter. It's cheap as chips to run. I've just said how much the insurance is, the road tax. I get 6,000 miles out of those tyres. I can get more, but I change them before they start going flat. Back wheel, terrible. I'll come to that in a bit. Of course, I've got a spare engine sitting that I bought for 700 quid. You can get engines for 500 quid all day long now out smashed bikes. I've also got the wiring loom, the regular rectifier, which is there actually. Fuel injection, ECU. I've got all that, the switch gear. If I ever need to, I can put any of that on this. So I'll keep this bike going, as you know. I can run this bike off-road. I can run it in the winter. I need to get new stickers for it though, look. One of my Fear Not RTR stickers. Yeah. Don't talk about the number plates. The back one's on with Velcro. I can just pull that off. Front one is secured on. I can also run that without the screws and it pulls off. I'm changing that to say something, not a reg number. So it won't be a regi plate. So all the anoraks, that's what they are. Saying you can't do this, can't do that. They can all shut up. In my head, I'm buying a second bike and I'm not going to buy one of these. I'll explain why. Well, quite simple. I want another bike that I'll ride and do some films about. And I went through a whole scenario of bikes, but we'll not talk about that in this film. But this bike is staying. It won't go. I'll just see what it does miles over the years. That'll get cut through there, and that's going to either get detachable or hinged. I'll just wait till the winter and do it when I'm using the car for a couple of weeks, just take all the bits and do it. I'm going to do that, and then that's done. The problem is you can't go doing that with a shiny chrome mudguard if you've got a nice one. The cheap panniers, I wouldn't bother buying them because they just rot and fall off eventually. I've just put these on for the winter. I'll probably buy some Hitchcock's ones in the winter months, just because they're made in the UK by a company and they're better quality. I'll get them on it for next year. I've got the camshaft in it. I've got the Fuel X light fitted, the DNA thingy filter, all that, stainless pipe. I wouldn't do all that if I bought another one. I don't think it's worth the money for 800-900 quid. I would put that in the petrol tank and go and use them, because it's still going to do 73 mile an hour flat out. Nothing you can change will do that. And here's the thing though, is all these 350s, 400s, they're all topping out at 80. Because if they go over 80 mile an hour, or they can be made to top out at 80, that's what I should say. Because if you go over 80, they're in a different tax bracket. So whatever one of these you get, that's your top speed. Be it a classic like this, the Meteor Cruiser, or the Hunter Roadster. They're all the same. And even the CB350 that's out, that'll have the same top whack, 70, 75. It might do 80 if you lie in the tank, whatever. But they don't go any faster, they can't. And that's something you've either got to live with or you can't live with. I can because of the running costs, because I work part-time. Now that's Neil for work. Where's he going? He must be picking someone off. So I love this bike. I think it's brilliant. And if it got smashed and written off or nicked, I'll buy another one. But other than that, I'll just keep running this one. I was just going to buy another one, but I'm deciding now I'm going to look at something else to add to this. It's something slightly different. But this is the last of your air-cooled simple bikes. The CB350 though is actually the same. And a lot of folk will say, oh, it's not got the classic looks and that. It's not got the weight though as well. So that's a lot to think about. These are bloody heavy bikes. To bear that in mind. Moving forward, I'm going to just have them sitting. Headset bearings, front and back wheel bearings. Have them sitting. The discs will just get replaced when they've got really bad grooves on them, which they haven't yet. As you know, it passed the MOT, so they can't be worn yet. But yeah, should folk buy one? Yeah, why not? Certainly, definitely as a second bike. Certainly, if you're on a budget like me, part-time working, I've got a Willys Jeep to run as well. So I think it's been a brilliant bike. Think how long that would have lasted if I'd kept it in a shed clean and took a car to work and just took it out at the weekends. It'd last you the rest of your riding days. Buy the touring seat, that's what I should say, and the higher bars, that's personal choice. But the standard seat is alright. And I think it's a good saying. 125 miles is a sort of a decent distance to do before you stop. Let's check my time. 20 past, I'm still early. Let's go a wee run. Let's just go down the Yellow Craig Road. We've got time. Nah, these are great bikes. So let's just make this film a bit longer because it's celebrating it being 3 years old. Let's just make this 3-year review. We'll title it that. There's been loads of 3-year reviews done already. The thing about buying the extras for it, there's two things to look at. Changing it to how you want it to look, and changing it to how it sounds. And that air intake and that exhaust note, a lot of these have commented on my film saying it's quite a unique noise. So I've told you the story here. Ware Road. That means a seaweed road. But they used to gather seaweed off the beaches to fill the fields for fertiliser. Anyway, digressing again. We'll just go down and turn at the entrance into Merlin House. Nah, great bikes. Fifth gear is like an overdrive, and so quite often you'll end up just sitting in fourth when it's really strong winds, big climbs, long hills, stuff like that. And I actually think my bike's got a bit of a flat spot now since it's had all the cam put in. And folk will ask me, is it worth putting in? Well, it's your money, you make your choice. I wouldn't put another one in, that's all I'm going to say. We're just going to go up here and show you. Oh, well, there's somebody walking a dog off the lead. So this place in here was an RAF radar research building, which we'll do a film on. It's not lived in this now, it's private residence. It's partly the central heating, underfloor heating leaked. Right, I'm waffling. I'll go back up through the village and call it a day at that. But for what I do, this bike's great. If you can only have one bike, it's not a bad bike to have. This engine. One of my friends may well be buying a CB350, and I'm looking at more and more at buying that as my second bike as well. I'm not caring about the full retro looks, I've got it with this. That's the bike I'm buying with my head, not my heart. If I buy a Gold Star, which I had thought about, I have more road tax, more insurance, then there's the no centre stand, more fuel. Nothing, all the things are a downstep from this in my list of what it must have, or what I want it to have. But 99% of all new motorbikes that are now on the showroom floors, I have zero interest in. Zero interest. Which is why I gave up motorcycling 10 years ago. And it was only this bike, the Spark, that reignited that flame for me. I just thought, that's cool. So that's a micro 3-year review, which is fine. Doesn't need anything more in depth. It's an older bike now. People are actually. I'm going to go stop here at this old Edinburgh sign. This is a cracker. I'll call it a day at that. So the old sign's actually been replaced with a cheap plastic crap sign. There's progress for you folks. Okay, so we'll leave yous now and I'll head off because I'm going to work, and we'll see you in the next one, which will be probably another commute to work as the split shifts start next week. It'll be really early, like 4:30 in the morning. We'll see you then, okay? Bye for now. Just some of the machines.
We need a greenkeeper with 10-foot long arms to do this job. So we have a halfway house here, so nothing to report today. All we've been doing is patching fairways. How's that for a view, folks? So that's Ibroty Island. It's a tidal island, so you can walk out to it. And here's all your natural dunes. So before golf courses were built all down the coast, this is what the East Lothian coastline was like. All dunes. There's the boys patching. So we'll see you after work.
Welcome back, folks. Home time. Thought I'd just shoot a bit of film going home. So it's turned out dry as forecast. been a wet day, midday was wet. That's kind of, well, it's just the weather, isn't it? Sunshine and showers. But looks like it's a dry evening now. And it's only 6:30. So a nice day. Ended the day just patching all the fairways with sand. All the volunteers are on site. Our boss is giving us all the debrief. So good to go. So split shifts start tomorrow. 4:45 to be in for the briefing, and we hit the course at 5. So we should get home about, I don't know what time, 9 o'clock or something. And then we'll be back in again for, we get our dinner I think, before we go out. I'll probably eat at home, I don't know, we'll see. But I'll get a wee bit kept during the day, a couple of hours sleep. Freshens you up. So, 3 years old, eh? Warhorse. I tell you what, this bike owes me nothing. If it blows up tomorrow, I'd rather it didn't. Well, if it does, I've got another engine. But, what a brilliant bike. For the money, for what it costs, it's brilliant. Something in the review that, well, wasn't really a review, just a bit chat about my bike. Earlier that I never mentioned was suspension. Mine's on totally standard suspension settings. So it's just, and it's also 19,000 miles, nearly another 100 miles and it'll be 19,000 miles. So it's went down slowly the amount of miles I've done. Just from not using it every single day. But yeah, the suspension's just standard. I might put a bit thicker fork oil on it when I change the fork oil. Just to firm the forks a bit, they're all a bit soft. But handling wise, there's no need to change the back shocks. I don't spare the horses with mine, as you'll know by my films. And I've never had any type of handling. And that's me riding it with trail tyres. But I've never had any handling problems at all. Bike's rock solid. Keep it simple, that's the secret. So we're into July. What will the month bring? I've not got really anything planned. I'll be trying to get a week booked actually when my partner G's next off on a week. And we're going to get ourselves up north with a van and Murphy dog and take our push bikes and we're going to go to some aircraft crash sites, World War II crash sites that she's not been to yet. She's been to over 50 crash sites now. She's done really well at it. Brilliant. So I keep telling folk, if you're interested in seeing some of our films, they're worth a watch for that. And our channel is called Glenda and the Pink War Rig. Quite a few have went and subscribed, and I really want to say a big thank you to everyone who has, and anyone that does after this film. Because it's the small YouTubers that we all need to support. Because there are actually a lot of really good, talented filmmakers out there. I watch a lot of channels and their films don't get many views, and I don't know why they don't, because the quality of filmmaking is so good. Now, a motorbike channel, and I get a lot of comments from him, and you need to go and look at his channel. It's really, really well made, and he's a Scotsman as well, artist on a motorbike. Now, his films are fantastic made. He does a review of the Classic 350 from a totally different angle. Watch that, you'll be really impressed with that film. Artist on a motorbike, there you go. And the views he gets, there should be a lot more. So that's interesting. We left work and it was a west wind. And once again, we're starting to get an easterly off the sea, which is probably what's brought in this clear weather. Push the rain down. The potatoes are flowering. See the flowers on them. Don't know if you can see that in the camera. I think they're Morris Pipers. I'm not a big potato ID guy. East Lothian's potatoes though are world famous. There was a Dunbar potato as well. It's Dunbar Red it's called? I think so. Okay, so I didn't get as much film doing stuff because we didn't do that. I've not had as varied jobs this year that I thought would be of interest, but you know, you get that feeling, don't you? Someone's not stopping. Oh, go and check out Bina's latest film. The person pulling out in front of him. You're quite right, swearing, Bina. Don't apologise for swearing. Folk are just puppets nowadays. You've got to trust no one with your life, definitely. Yeah, Bina's got another motorbike channel with his bullet called Walter. And again, his channel doesn't get half as many views as it does. He's an interesting person. He just goes for a ride, no fixed destination, and just has a good ramble about things, and it's really interesting. His videos do show though how busy it is in England compared to up here. So many cars. So this is 7:15 on a Sunday night and this road's empty. So I'm going to go home and get changed out my work gear, put the kettle on, get some bickies, and I'm going to go and put the telly on, set my feet up with Murphy Dog, and do an hour of YouTube. And then I'm going to make this film that you're watching now, which will take me about half an hour. It's very quick just to stitch it together and publish it. So we're going to get this on Monday morning, and then I'll probably do a film on Tuesday or Wednesday, okay? I'll see what the weather's like, just play it by ear. So once again, as always, thanks again everyone, thanks for all the support, but support everyone else as well with the wee channels please. Go and see Glenda and the Pink War Rig, subscribe, Artist on a Motorbike, and Bina. There's 3 channels for you to go and have a look at. 2 motorbikes, 1 on World War II crash site history. Okay, thanks again. See you in the next one. Bye.